That looks like it's working. Oh,
I got it.
good. On both?
I don't know if I'm at the Facebook because I'm trying to do 5
Yeah, I'm not
screens.
seeing it on the Facebook.
Did you do the back end?
Huh?
You did it the other way, right?
I did it the normal way we have to do it, yeah. Let me just make sure it's loading here for me so I can see the questions. It says we're live, so
okay. Well,
I'm gonna just go with that.
I'm just gonna check on my phone to make sure that we are all queued up. And then we're ready to rock and roll. I didn't get a notification for you yet, Jeff. Are you sure we're live on Facebook?
It's telling me we're live.
Okay.
Yes, I got the notification.
Okay.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Virtual Cantina Watch Along. We are on our march to Mandalorian season 6. Episode 6. Season 3. We're watching Book of Boba Fett, episode 6, and we have a very special guest tonight with us, with Jeff and with John, and we have Miss Christine Gailey. Christine, how are you tonight?
Hi.
Well, welcome to the Virtual Cantina. For those who don't know, Christine has joined the long lineage of people playing our very favorite astromech droid, R2-D2, in this episode. So first up, Christine, tell us about how you found Star Wars before you even became an actress in the property.
Well, so I'm in this agency called Central Casting, and they asked me to join, like pretty much to know the Star Wars. They have a code, a secret code to know, the Book of Boba Fett. And the secret code to join in was, I believe, Foundry or something. I don't know. I totally forgot Huckabee. Anyway, they asked me to come in and do a bidding for one of the creatures, and that's how I got into it. And then one of the dressers that dressed me for the creature told me, like, "Are you a big fan of Star Wars?" Like, yeah. Like, oh, okay, so you're working on the show with Star Wars. Like, oh wow, that's awesome. So that's pretty much I got into it. Because my first costume, my first feature was astronaut on Mandalorian, which is episode 1. If you've seen it, like it's a little creature walking in. He was like in the little scenery of the little when a child and Mandalorian was walking and everybody was staring at them, and they were like in the scene of when they were like going to the marketplace, I believe, if you remember, kind of.
Yes.
And then there's one little scene the camera shot was the little astronaut walking. That's me in that little feature. Yeah. So that was my first creature I did until like they started to like me, how I give more interact with the character, so they gave me more different roles to be part of the Star Wars industry.
So were you a fan growing up?
I wasn't a fan at all. I know what's the show about, but once I got into it, like when working with them, that's when I became a fan with them.
That's absolutely awesome. So if you have any questions in the crowd tonight, Jeff, how can people ask?
Well, we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you have a question, just throw it in the chat on either platform. And myself or Spencer will grab it and relay it to Christine.
So Christine, when you found out for the Book of Boba Fett that you were going to be R2-D2, How was that? How was that experience? You know, first of all, finding out that you're going to be R2, and then actually, you know, being able to be R2.
When I found out, they called me in to come in to do a fitting, and the fitting there was a code for that creature, and I didn't know what is it and what's about. So once I came into the studio to do a fitting, one of my costuming was telling me like this is the creature you're gonna do. So I saw like she I guess it was covered like the blanket, it was covered with a blanket and all that. So they pull it out and she was saying this is the creature you're gonna do. And then that's when I look at it, I'm like, I know this creature. Like, is this what I think it is? It's like, yes, you're doing R2D2. Like,
Wow.
what? Oh, okay. That's awesome. Like, but Dave and John want to see you to try the want you to try it out. Want to see you how you fit in that costume. So I'm like, oh, okay. So we are waiting on them to come. We were waiting on them to see me while I'm trying on the costume. So I'm just like patiently waiting for them while they like filming. Cause I guess it was in the studio they were filming, and that's when I came in. And I was like all excited, and I'm all smiling, but you can't see me because I'm wearing a mask, because of COVID. So I'm like all excited, like blushing and all that stuff. But it was very honored, be part of it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
John.
If you think about it, you kind of stepping into a role for a droid, right? That many revered actors played prior to you, right? Particularly like Kenny Baker, Jimmy V, and people like that. So you're filling very large shoes, if you like it. One of the most beloved characters in the Star Wars universe. And did you think about that? Did you think about, wow, I'm being given the opportunity and trusted with bringing this character into the Book of Boba Fett series? And so did you feel that way, or did you feel nervous about it? How did you feel when you found out?
Like when I found out I got casted to be R2D2, I was very nervous because, which is John, that was his favorite character. And he like asked me to bring my character alive. I want to see R2D2 and I want to see you how to, bring him, create that magic. So now, but knowing that, like working on the scene of the filming, I was like so like excited and stoked about it because knowing that, like I realized that I'm the first female at all the person that done the R2D2 out of what 4 or 5 I think.
Yeah.
Elite group.
And so it's amazing and so honored to be part of it.
Definitely.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did you get? Did anybody give you any tips or hints? Maybe who have played that character in the past or similar characters. Did they give you any advice about how to play R2D2?
I know John was telling me that Kenny Baker was telling he was part of it, and he was showing us. I guess I watched a little scene of him how he reacts to the character. So I tried to make it my own way of his way, to bring that character alive. So that's what I did. And so far, like now, like seeing that come alive, like I'm so honored to see that part,
That's absolutely incredible. Yeah, I know that several times in past interviews and stuff, John has talked about the fact that R2D2 is his all-time favorite character. How is it working with John and with Dave?
Working with John, he's more like he's more into like direct, like he wants specific, like he'll tell you what to do, like you got to give it the to see what he wants. And he's more like they both of them working. What do you call it? Dave, he's more easy to work with than John, because John is more particular, like he wanted specific little detail. And Dave, same thing, but he's more like easy, like to understand what he's trying to say, you know. But overall, working with both of them are amazing. You know, I like them because they are funny and they make us laugh about it. You know, they make us feel homey working with them. You know, feel comfortable with them. So.
That's great. And so, Spencer talked about it a little earlier. I think, you know, with working on this particular season, you know, Book of Boba Fett, you know, you must have probably, you know, got quite close with a lot of the other cast members. You know, we talk about people like Emily Swallow, you know, and Brendan Wayne and Lilani, and, you know, they all feel like one big family. So when you know, were given the opportunity to play R2, did you feel that? Did you feel the production was like one big family and everybody was just pulling together to create some magic?
Oh yeah, like working with Fenner or everyone that I know of, like they're more like a family, you know, because like they're doing the same thing, bring their character alive, and you bring your own character to life with them, and you're working together as a team to bring the show. You create that show to, you know, for the audience, you know, and that's what, you know, working with them, you know, I like it gives more like create the star industry to bring alive, you know, working with them. So it's more like, you know, like they're a big, huge family because you're working with them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody who we've had on the show for the most part talks about it being basically a big family and everybody loves each other and gets along really well and is looking forward to working together on the next scene or the next episode or the next, you know, show or whatever it is. And then hearing all the people being, you know, coming in blind for things like they were on Mandalorian, but now they're going to go do Boba Fett and they're not sure if it's Mandalorian or not. And then when they get there, you know, you have these realizations like you're in Jabba's palace or something like that. It's amazing to hear.
Yeah. So, Christine, you know, playing again, you know, we're talking a little earlier on playing such an iconic character, and the technology, you know, from the 1970s, you know, when Kenny Baker played R2D2 has shifted immensely. You know, I remember talking to Anthony Daniels, and he was saying, you know, with the way that 3D printing is these days, the costumes and whatever you're required to wear is so much easier than the 70s. So for you, you know, creating this, you know, taking the first opportunity to play this character and create something that's unique to you. What were some of the challenges that you found difficult, you know, working, you know, on the season and particularly playing R2? What were the challenges? You know, was it hard to kind of move or to see? So tell us a little bit about some of the challenges you experienced on the production.
Well, working in the R2D2 costume, when I was in the scene with Mallory and Ahsoka, you know, I couldn't actually hear the cue, you know, their line. So what they did, one of the team that does R2D2, he gave me a little headpiece set for me to hear them. And it did help a lot. So I can actually, because it like when you're inside the R2D2, like your ear like pretty much blocked. You can't hear nothing except like you have a little breeze going in underneath underneath R2D2, but hearing them the dialogue, you know, I could not hear anything, and I'm just standing, you know, I'm just stood there like waiting, like what should I do? But they realized that they asked me like, "Can you hear something? Can you hear them talking?" Like, no, I can't. Like, oh, okay. Like, let me just give you the headpiece mic, and I'll cue you I'll cue you the part that you have to do, so that way you could feel comfortable and all that stuff. So that's what they did, and after like different scene take of shots, I got used to it, and now I started to realize, okay, this is my part. Looking at it, and overall, like it got more easy to do it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Jeff, before we do we have any questions in the chat yet?
Yeah, Reynald has asked a question here of Christine, and he was curious, or they were curious to know if you were able to visit any other sets or places in the volume, or practical sets that your R2 character didn't appear. Were you able to go to other, visit other sets while you weren't necessarily in the costume?
Well, the scene I was on, it was filming outside.
Oh, that was a location one, huh?
Yeah, the location was outside. It wasn't in the volume. It was outside, but they did have little other spot of the area that, which is not part of the scene that was filmed.
Mm.
Yeah. But I did actually like walk around and look around, but I didn't like actually like film it in that particular, only in my scene.
Right. So because we're always curious if people got to, go watch a different scene being shot or something, like adjacent to what you were in.
Okay.
Any other questions from the chat before I think we're just a few minutes away from.
We still got about 10 minutes before we're going to start the episode. So,
yeah. I do want to say real quick, today is Brendan Wayne's birthday.
Oh, wow.
So Brendan has been a fantastic part of this virtual Cantina family. He appeared in one of the watch-alongs a couple of weeks ago. So happy birthday, Brendan. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Don't have too much fun, and we hope to see you soon.
I'm sure he's out coaching something or doing some amazing thing right now.
Yeah. So another question for you, Christine. So obviously appearing as R2-D2 in the Book of Boba Fett, did you watch any of the Mandalorian series prior to Book of Boba Fett? Did you kind of understand a little bit more about the story prior to you appearing on the season at all?
To be honest, I only watched the scene that I was filmed. But I did actually bench watch the whole series, and got to understand like what's going on and all that stuff until like it moved to the Book of Boba Fett.
Got it.
Yeah.
So when we were in Anaheim in May 2025 at the Star Wars Celebration event, they had a wonderful premiere of Kenobi, but they also had a Mandalorian panel, which really was a mashup of Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. They had actors and principal actors from both seasons there. And I hope at some point in the future you get to experience what that's like. But we were talking to Emily Swallow about that, and Carl Weathers said coming to one of the live panels in Star Wars Celebration was a bit like attending a football playoff. He said, I have never seen so many people in one place and just going absolutely nuts about something that they grown to love on television. So hopefully one day you get to experience that, and
oh yeah, I hope so.
meet the people that I've just loved the seasons of the work that you guys have put in to bring us such joy, and being able to be part of the Star Wars universe again. That's just been such a joy for us.
Definitely. So Spencer is still trying to get his computers to cooperate. So has stepped out momentarily, if you didn't notice, but he'll be back shortly, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah,
But
I was lucky to join. In my region, we just had the biggest lightning storm, and the power literally came on 5 minutes before we
wow,
went
that's good
live.
timing.
So I was very lucky. But hopefully, the power will still remain. So while we wait for Spencer to join and before we watch tonight's episode, any more questions in the chat yet, Jeff?
Lila had asked one, but she came in late, so she was asking if Christine was a fan of Star Wars prior to getting her gigs, and I think she already answered that. So, but you could reiterate if you feel like it. Yeah, so somebody on YouTube mentioned that you are credited as astronaut creature on IMDb for that episode. For it looks like they're saying episode 1 of season 3 of The Mandalorian, but that should be episode 1 of season 1, right? Or 2?
It was episode 1. No, it's season 1, episode 3.
Oh, okay. So they
Yeah.
got the numbers backwards. Yeah, that's what I thought. I knew it was early on in the show, so yeah, definitely not something from the future.
Yeah.
Can't have that up there yet till somebody sees it and then they can put it in there.
Mm-hmm. So one question, I'm just curious, Christine. Chris Bartlett has been one of our great, friends and family, and I think he's been on several watch-alongs. And Chris has famously played C-3PO on various productions on television, and a lot of the droids in both Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. Have you met Chris? Has he ever given you some advice at all about?
Oh yes, I met him. There was a scene that we did work together, and that scene will be coming out for the next season. Yeah, for the next.
That's good to know.
Yeah, but it was really awesome working with him. He's really nice to work with, and really fun to chat with. But he's really nice.
Yeah, Chris is a good friend of our virtual Cantina network, and has given some given freely of his time, and so his experiences of working on the various productions in costume, and even talking to us recently about Kenobi and how playing one of the characters was very physical, and so it was great to get that insight.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here comes Spencer. So Peter, I think this would already covered as well, but Peter wants to know how did it feel to portray such an iconic character such as R2? But I think you again mentioned that. But if you want to talk about it some more, feel free. I'm sure people will love to hear anything you have to say about being R2.
Yeah, it's nice to be the first female to be. First female to bring that character to life, as R2D2, and it's such an honor, to be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So, did you have like the costume? I guess it has like holes in the bottom where your feet go, or were you like contained in the body of R2? Because I thought I've seen like previs stuff or whatever where they showed somebody standing with their feet coming like out down into R2's feet.
Yeah. The scene, I don't know if you saw Kenny Baker behind the scene, how he has his foot between his leg on R2D2. So pretty much there's like a slit open R2D2 leg. So that's where you slide your foot in.
Okay.
Pretty much. And there's a little handle on the side of an R2D2. So it's like you grab it and like pull the weight of it. And that's when you do like the kind of like the R2D2 happy fit dance.
Right, this little rocking and movement.
So that's pretty much how you did, like you hold on to it and then you start it's kind of not heavy, but it's like you it's a lot of work. You just hold it and like just like work with your shoulder and your arm pretty much.
Interesting. Yeah, I like how they do the practical version of R2, especially nowadays when it's so easy to do a CG version, but you get that personality from an actual actor being in the suit like yourself. Really makes it, kicks it up a level, and it gives it so much more, feeling.
Yeah, I've definitely preferred the practical R2s, and C-3POs. We've had some animated ones. It doesn't feel as real.
Yeah, it's
so I love
something.
I love the practical and the practical use of the droids rather than the animated. So I'm so happy for you, Christine.
Yeah, so
Thank
it's absolutely awesome. And just want to remind everybody that we are going to be watching episode 6 of the Book of Boba Fett. So if you have Disney Plus up on your screen, we're going to be starting in a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
very shortly. But what's also very exciting, which maybe some people know, some people don't know, is Christine's husband is in Star Wars too. Why don't you talk to us about Brad?
Ooh.
Yeah, my husband, Bradley Gailey, he's also Star Wars as well. He's one of the creature of Jawas.
Oh, nice.
And to know, in fact, I'm also part of the Jawa as well.
I'm sure they try to get as many of little people actors as they can to portray the groups of Jawas.
So like in the group, there's 24 of us.
Wow.
Of Jawas.
Wow.
Yeah.
That many.
There's 20. There was one scene. I think it was the scene of season 2 that they were filming, and I wasn't in it because I was pregnant during that time. But my husband who is part of the scene, and he was telling me that it was 24 of us, 24 of them, when they were in the ship and talking to the Mallory, fighting scene, whatever, and also carried the egg. If you see that part.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Suga.
Yeah.
We love Suga.
So, but yeah, he was telling me all about it, and he was telling me like, there's one scene. It was harder for some of the people to get into the little, the Jawa sandcrawler inside the little control thing, and because like they said that it was harder for them to get in it, but since they know I am very petite wise, like I could fit in it, but I was pregnant during that time. I wish I could be part of it, that part scene.
I recently found out because Jeff and I are also friends with Chuck, who's helping you with a lot of your graphics for the show in New Hampshire, which I'm going to see you guys at. I will be in New Hampshire show. That Brad was actually the one who took off Boba's helmet when they were ransacking him after he came out of the Sarlacc pit. So that's a pretty awesome scene in itself.
Nice.
That scene, I was the one taking out the helmet.
Oh, you were? Okay.
That was me.
Even better.
I blame Chuck.
Yeah, that was me taking
that was awesome.
off
you need to have a chat. You need to have a chat with your husband about that. He's claiming that.
Yeah.
He's claiming that he did.
But his, I don't know. He actually said it correctly, but it might be Chuck that misunderstood what he said.
Yes, it was Chuck.
Yeah.
It's an honest mistake.
Don't blame it on him. He
got the last name right.
Yeah, but that scene was me pulling out the Mandalorian helmet off, and that's when there was 5 of us working that scene, and my husband was the one when the Mandalorian grabbed the Jawa leg. He looked over it, and that's when he had the gun and like knocked him out. That was him knocking him out. So
that's great.
Very pertinent. Important shot.
Very
too.
cool. Well, it's a big scene, and when we had Leilani and Ariel on in the past, they talked about that scene quite often, as well as a fun scene with all of you guys together.
Oh yeah, it was really fun scene. Like, and we were working at night, and pretty much it was. I think it was during winter, and it was really cold. But thank goodness the Java costume was heavy. It kept us warm inside, and
Nice.
on top of that, we had to like play with this gooey stuff, but in our hand with because I guess that one scene that we was removing the stuff from the Mandalorian, and our hand was like freezing. That's why like I don't know. It was fun and it was a lot.
How was working
Cold
with
Sarlacc slime.
Yeah.
How was working with Tamora?
Oh yeah.
Who?
With
Tamora.
Boba Fett, Tamora Morrison.
She was really cool, really awesome. Yeah.
That's great. So we're about at the top of the hour right now. So we're going to start the episode. So if everybody has their Disney Plus all queued up,
Mhm.
we'll wait till Christine's all ready for that.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. So just make sure that your volume is down, just so we
Yeah.
don't get pooped off. But we're going to do a 10-second countdown, and then we're all going to hit play at the same time on the Disney Plus splash page.
And we're gonna watch
start,
through the intros.
So we're going to start in 10,
You never
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Mm-mm. Ooh. There's Emily. We got
Emily,
Christine,
her last week.
what do you like about being part of this universe? I mean, it's so big and goes so far out, but you have a part of it, which is pretty awesome. How much do you love being part of it?
It's pretty awesome and so cool to work with those people, and it's just such an honor to just be part of the Star Wars family, so.
I mentioned earlier that you're going to be at that show in New Hampshire next month with your husband Brad, with Kyle Pasek, who is another Jawa, as well as played a bounty hunter. Stephen Constantino, who is a Gamorrean guard in Return of the Jedi. Are you guys doing any other shows coming up that people who can go and see you guys and get autographs and stuff?
Right after the New Hampshire, me and my husband are doing another convention right after that, the next following weekend. And that one will be in, I don't know what city is that one. I kind of like lost track, but the one I didn't know what, but there's more that we do going. There's another one in California on March 25th that we're doing another signing. It's in California at Moreno Valley.
Moreno Valley, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be signing with like 2 other Star Wars co-hosts as well.
Cool.
That's great. Wonderful.
Might see me
We
there.
make sure that you guys, if you're watching and you're in the area, want to go meet them, then you please do. I know that being a big Funko person myself, I actually went out and bought an off-world Jawa to get Brad aside, but I actually bought an R2 for you. So I'm very,
nice.
I'm big on getting those signed, but it's very exciting. But here we got this great scene. I love that with the Pike Syndicate with their canton full of spice. I actually have over here on my Grogu.
My Cantono's not in arm's reach.
My canton doesn't have spice in it, but there's also the marshal with the best hair in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And you have the Camptona, Spencer, and I have the spice. I've traded spice.
I know you did.
I'm not telling you where, though.
Well, we tried when I was last there. Christine, have you been to Galaxy's Edge yet?
Oh yes, I have.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like the atmosphere, like all that. You feel like you're part of the land.
They did a pretty good job, I think. I spend as much time as I can there here in Disneyland.
And we have one of the, I'm not so sure if it's still the case, but one of the original Ewoks that works in Galaxy's Edge, Margot.
Margot! Margot is going to be at the show as well with everybody in New Hampshire next month too.
I noticed her name mentioned in one of those announcements. I haven't seen her at the park in a while, but it's always cool to run into her.
So here's the question, Christine. Okay, we've asked so many different actors like yourself, who've played a Jawa, played a Ewok, or whatever it is. So, if there was a fight, who would win, an Ewok or a Jawa?
I don't know. They both little, so
So all the people that played Jawa say that Jawas would win, and all the people that played Ewoks say the Ewoks would win.
yeah. I would say.
So your vote could be the deciding one.
Since I played the Jawas, I'll say Jawas.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sure.
Because
I'm sure Kevin and Tracy Thompson will be disagreeing with you on that one. But
yeah. But if I was part of the Ewoks, I would say the same thing. But if I played both of them, then
that would be difficult
to choose. So
I love these cockpit perspective shots of him cruising through in the Naboo starfighter here. This is amazing. Oh,
there you go. There you go.
So did you control that, or was that CG, or
I think that's CG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been fun if you had like a little handle that you could have been twisting
I'll
the
be
little
like,
antenna.
Oh.
So was this Brendan who was in the suit when you were talking to him initially?
Mm-hmm.
What a nice guy.
Yeah. He's fun to work with and funny. He make us like feel more like open and more like working with them a lot, But
Sure.
Brendan, he's a really good guy to work
They
with.
seem like they put everybody at ease when they're kind of just doing their thing.
Yeah.
Like we said, the big family kind of atmosphere, at least, good friends.
How difficult is it to control what you're doing there? Is it? Do you have to like practice a lot of the scenes, or
this scene right here? That's not me. That's one of the controllers that they use.
A remote control.
Yeah. Because there's some scene I know which part is me. So that scene, looking back at Mandalorian, that's not me. But once he parked,
Right.
that's when that whole scene would be me.
Was there any version of the building droid that was practical at
So
all?
the scene that they were looking at right now
Mhm.
wasn't there at all. It was like
Right.
CGI. Because I did not remember that part. Like I remember, like I had to look at. What's funny, like the part that we are looking at was the camera crew.
Right.
We're looking at the camera, but we don't know like who are we talking to, like what are we watching, what are we looking at. But yeah, this scene was the one I was just standing in, and this was when I turned off right here, and that's when the Mandalorian look over and ask me, like, hey, like, are you awake? Like wake up. But in there, I was like
Classic.
laughing.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I love R2 just in general, and then this is classic with the droids coming over and building Mandalorian a bench
Yeah.
while you power down. They're like, you can have a little while to wait, man.
Yeah. He'll be around a little.
Yeah. It's just cool watching this scene that little droid building the little bench for him.
Mhm.
Like, it's cool, like they create that magic,
Mhm.
and but looking like remembering that, like that was there that was just there when he was sitting down, and
Right.
yeah, but it was cool just to look with that scene.
So this was out an exterior set. It wasn't in the volume,
No, it was outside.
and was it in the normal studio area where the volume is, or was it some other location?
I think some scene was in the volume, like
Mhm.
probably this scene is,
Yeah, but I
and
mean,
then
where you shot your exterior scene, was that like in the
my
same
my
studio area as where the volume is, or was it a different lot, or was it a different
it was
location entirely?
it was in a different lot.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, because my scene was filming outside, and then that's when they had to build the scene with all the trees and the dirt and all that. But
Mhm.
there was a green screen behind it as
Right.
well.
So that was more traditional CGI stuff with the green screen versus
Yeah.
the interior, like with the volume, and how amazing that thing has to be to see. I'd love to see that in person.
What was your first impression of when you saw the first time you saw Grogu?
Okay.
Oh my god, my first time seeing him, I was like, I told my husband, because like my husband wasn't part of the he wasn't working with us. I was the first one to work in that Star Wars industry, and that's when I was telling him all about it. I was like, "Oh my god, they have a mini Yoda! It's a little baby one. I didn't know his name, but he's like a miniature. It's so cute. It's like a baby Yoda." And he's like, "What are you talking about? Like, there's a little baby Yoda. Like, I didn't know if that Yoda or not. So like when I first saw him, I thought he was like Yoda in the future that's, talking about it. But overall, like when we watched the show, like, oh, he's not Yoda, he's Grogu. But
Mhm.
before the Grogu name came out, they call him the child, you know. There was
Mhm.
no name for him. So it was cool, like, to work with them, and it's awesome, like, seeing a bunch of puppeteer controlling Grogu. There's
Right.
one, a lot of puppeteer controlling the eyes, the ears, the hands, the mouth. There's 5 or 10 of them controlling that creature to make them, make that creature alive.
Mhm.
They do an amazing job for sure.
Yeah.
Thinking back, nothing's really changed, right, since the Empire Strikes Back in the late 70s, early 80s. The original Yoda took so many people as well. Nick
Yeah.
Maley, who's one of the Stuart Freeborn's team that created Yoda, will tell you, there was literally 6 or 7 people operating just just one puppet.
Oh yeah.
I love how he's hopping along
Yeah,
with
it's
Luke.
classic. Like
like
scoots
Luke
him
is using
along.
but here he is talking about Yoda.
Hmm.
So obviously you have a scene coming up in a little bit we're gonna get to that was actually filmed with Mark Hamill on set and Rosario. How is working
Yeah.
with either one of them?
Working with Rosaria, like, she's really nice person I ever met. Like, they like when, because we had this little, right after, because like each right after we finish our scene, it's time to go into a little break area, and I thought I would have my own little big area, but she invited me to hang out with her
Mm.
and Brandon in their little big area. So it's just like a trio with them. We're like, okay. So I opened, they opened up with me and I opened up with them. So those people, they are really nice to hang out with.
Order 66. This is crazy.
Yeah.
That sounds like amazing time. I'm sure they're the
Yeah,
best.
it doesn't
around.
surprise me. They're just such beautiful people, and you guys, I think as many people that have come on the watch-alongs have said, we just all get along. There's no issues. We just one big family and we all work together, enjoy each other's company. So that doesn't surprise me. So, and I'm hoping to meet Rosario. She's going to be appearing. I know she's at Star Wars Celebration in London. So we hope to see her there. And
You're going to get to see her the week before.
And I was going to say she's in Orlando the week before, so we'll hopefully get to meet her there as well. But I know that in Anaheim in May last year, she was right in the middle of making Ahsoka. So she was very busy at that time. And so we all can't wait to see the final finished product for that particular series. And if you're in it, don't say. It's a surprise.
Yeah.
La la la.
No spoilers. There you go. So
there you are. So is this you?
That's me inside.
That's like the animation that you do, is that little kind of the wiggle thing.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely gives them more personality.
Old friend of the family. Is that what you would call Ahsoka? Do you watch the cartoons at all, like Rebels or Clone Wars, to get stories?
No, I don't. I haven't seen that episode, and that's me doing the floaty dance with her.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's tons of Star Wars content that you can delve into if you feel like it. So Disney Plus is a treasure trove of Star Wars.
Plus, also, there's a whole relationship in the Clone Wars between R2 and Ahsoka as well. She actually calls him Tui, and just like loves because R2 sees Ahsoka growing up, which is actually pretty nice.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah, they have some good backstory, history there.
How was Mark Hamill when you saw him on set?
He was really cool to see him and work with him, But overall, like, he was easy, to work with him at the scene. But
were you like, oh my God, that's Luke Skywalker? That's really Luke Skywalker? Were you like fangirling out a little bit?
I like when I first saw him, I'm like, is that him? But I just don't want to ask because I feel like dumb to ask you, like, are you the guy? But I don't want to say anything, But overall, like, once I got to hear about, like, oh, that's really him. Okay.
I think he would have gotten a kick out of the fact if you actually went to him and said, are you the guy?
Yeah. I'm like, are you that guy?
The guy who did that thing, 40 years ago. Yes.
Yeah.
45.
Practically the reason I'm here. I can't imagine anybody that wasn't him would not say, yeah, I'm him. Yeah, when I met him in 2017, Christine, I didn't know what to do with myself. I just kept shouting, "You're Luke Skywalker!" Yes, I know.
For most of us, like, he was our childhood. He was our gateway into Star Wars with him and Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford. So seeing him come back into this form of Luke, how we remember him as kids, is just, it's been such a treat. And, getting all this content Now, one thing we always talk about on our shows is that after Return of the Jedi in 1983, we didn't get any live action Star Wars for 16 years until 1999, until the prequels came out. So now with Disney Plus, we don't have to wait ever again for the rest of our lives, which is absolutely awesome. So from all of us who had to wait for 16 years and now never have to wait again, thank you for being part of continuing our childhood, because this is a big deal for all of us. And we know you guys do a lot of this for the fans, but we appreciate it because we've always wanted these stories of what happened in between. We want to know how Boba got out of the Sarlacc pit since 83. We want to know what happened to Luke, what happened to R2. So thank you very much for being part of
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Again, such an iconic character.
Yeah.
This is here with Mando not being able to see Grogu is always so like heart-wrenching. He's all reaching out. He knows Mando's around, but he's got his buddy R2 there. So
Yeah. It's funny how whether it's droids or creatures or whatever, they just form some kind of kinship, right? It's R2 and C-3PO obviously, and then I think Grogu and R2 just would be great friends.
Yeah.
Well, they seem to get along pretty well when they first meet, as far as we know, in that finale of season 2.
Well, yeah, but here the thing is that Grogu and R2 got along. But if you remember in Empire, Yoda and R2 didn't get along because Yoda kept on hitting him with a stick.
He was trying to take his snacks away. I'd hit R2 with a stick if he was trying to take my snacks.
Flashlight.
R2 does pack. He's got zappers and all kinds of stuff going on. So I wouldn't want to mess with him. You never know what he's going to pull out, and like a little saw or some kind of contraption that you'll
R2
regret.
has a wide range of implements.
He's like a Swiss Army knife.
Now here's what the hey, it's a warthog.
That's funny.
It's like Timon and Pumbaa. But this is I love how they had like the reversal here of, like in Empire, you have Luke running with Yoda, and now it's Luke running with Grogu.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I just love the meme right there. You see Grogu, everything the light touches will be
The Lion King. Yes. Classic. But yeah, him as the student running around with Yoda versus him as the teacher running around with Grogu is a nice juxtaposition.
And seeing Grogu up on that bastard with the 1 foot, it kind of reminds me of Daniel on the bow of the boat trying to learn how to do the
Oh, it's totally a Karate Kid homage, I'm sure.
Could you imagine Grogu going up like that?
Well, that's the thing about Dave and John. Both of them are so much into the history of movies and film and TV even, that they always have homages in terms of the way a scene is set that you could go back and compare it to.
Yeah. So if you had your own Star Wars weapon, whether it be a lightsaber, a blaster, a gaffy stick, what would be the one you would choose?
I'll say a lifesaver.
What color?
Oh, well, I like blue,
There you go.
so I will be blue.
A noble Jedi saber. Have you you said you've gone to Galaxy's Edge and Batu. Have you built a lightsaber at Savi's workshop?
No, I haven't. build
It is
a
a fun
lightsaber.
experience.
Not even a droid either.
Oh,
I
that one's more
yeah.
appropriate. You need to build yourself an R unit.
I know. Every time we go over there and just look at it, oh, this is cool. Like I want to build one, but we don't have time to do it.
Right.
But I think once my daughter is a lot older, that's when I'll have her build one so I can build with her, so she
Right.
also could be played with.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Definitely, it's a fun experience as well. But if you get a chance, to build a lightsaber, I'd say take that. That way
That
you
is so much
can make
fun.
your own saber and you can put a blue crystal in it.
Oh, nice. Okay. Because I know you had to make a reservation to do that, right?
Yeah, if you're here in Southern California, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Disneyland is a little less of an issue when it comes to getting a reservation for Savis. Disney World, the Hollywood Studios tends to be a little bit more like difficult. Here, a friend of mine or friend of ours from the channel that runs one of the admins, and we were in the park a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about building the sabers while we were inside Oga's Cantina having some drinks, and literally we went on the app and got a reservation for like 20 minutes later. So
Okay.
you can if you look, you can get them for the day of, if you happen to be there, you're going to the park or something. So you don't really have to do that, so far in advance, thankfully here in Disneyland. So we both went and built new sabers and almost built the exact same saber because of the new style we liked so much. But yeah, there's a lot of fun choices. So I'd say if you get a chance, do it. And then also, the thing with your daughter, with a droid is a great opportunity to kind of go through that as well. You can wait for that one.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun though.
Yeah, going back to that real quick, Jeff. It's funny, in Disneyland they seem to have a lot more of the characters walking around Galaxy's Edge, whereas in Orlando not so much.
Yeah.
It's always
weird that they
Kylo.
haven't done it in Hollywood Studios. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah.
But I've seen R2 in Disneyland in Batuu. I've seen The Mandalorian. I've seen Boba Fett. I've seen Fennec Shand. I've seen obviously Chewbacca and Rey and Vi Marati and Kylo and his troopers and a few random Imperials. So
when we went to Disneyland, the Galaxy, we saw R2-D2 storming around. And what's funny, my daughter Genevieve, she's like, "Mommy, that's you." And I was like, "Yep, that's me." And everybody was like, all the guests are looking at me like, "What? Like, why did she call you? That's you." But pretty, like in my head, like my daughter, she knows it's me, but everybody else didn't know.
Right.
So, but what's funny that we did tell one of the cast members about it, and they were like, they got a kick of it. They were surprised about like, what? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they love that kind of stuff. So
I said to Brendan Wayne a couple of weeks ago, I said, you should certainly go to Galaxy's Edge dressed as Mando, find the Mando character and take your helmet off.
Yeah, well, he could just go up and critique Mando in general and without having the costume on. This is great, this reveal. Coming into the palace.
You think about it, right? R2 is such a hero, within the Star Wars universe. When he first entered Jabba's palace, C-3PO was like, "Oh no, nobody's home. Let's go." And R2 just went straight through that door and in, like, "Nope, we're staying."
He was on a mission. Well, he had a little bit of more info than C-3PO ultimately.
True.
Well, yeah.
Whether or not he knew that message was there, which
R2 has a lot of secrets.
He had to have recorded it for
R2 had a lot of secrets.
Here's the question. Here's the question I have for you, Christine. You had mentioned obviously that we all know Jon Favreau's favorite character is R2-D2. Did he talk to you about how R2 is really like the keeper of all the stories within Star Wars and how important R2 is to everything that goes on?
He did, because he was telling me that, this is my favorite character, R2D2, and I really want you to make R2D2 happen, make that creation come alive. And like, and that's when, like, overall, like, he was telling me about it, and that's when it got into me, and like, okay, I'll make that happen. And knowing that, like, he always give me like hints, like tell me he's my favorite character, just to let you know, like, I really like him. Like, okay, I
Very
understand.
important.
Yeah, so once I heard it about it, like, when it was when I was trying out the costume, he was telling me all about it. But when we came to the scene, that's when he was telling me, okay, Christine, you got this, okay? Bring that R2 alive. Like, yep, I will.
Nice.
Mhm.
Oh, this is amazing reveal right here.
So
Yeah.
this scene is the Jawas, right?
Yeah.
It is.
I'm also in this scene as the Jawas. So that's me on the left side holding the rope.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Who was up
And-
there with you on that
So
scene?
it was me, Leilani, Ariel, Bradley, Susanna, and this two other guy, Cameron and Kale. I don't know his name, but how many is there? There's 2, 4, 6, 8 of them, 8 of us. And that scene was like we were standing on this platform they made, and we had to look at this little scene of the edge of the screen, like pointing out. But I wish we could see the dialogue, like before what they want us to do. But hearing them verbally, like, it was hard to understand. Like, just look at this, just look and point, just look and point. Like, okay, like, I don't understand the scene part, but now understand watching it, like, oh, that's what you guys
Right.
meant, you know.
Where's the little guy? He's got a dome right there ready for the little guy to fly around in. But future photos show that the dome has been replaced.
Yeah.
I love this with the rib cage inside the bar is like a war trophy kind of thing.
I wonder if, Christine, if you ever go to Ogre's Cantina in Galaxy's Edge, whether if you walk in the door, they'll say, "We don't want your kind in here. Take the droids out. They're not welcome."
I'll be like, you don't know who you're talking to, But
it's funny,
yeah.
there's that age-old question, who truly does R2D2 belong to, right? Because in some of the movies you hear it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's this.
He doesn't recall owning a droid.
Yeah, I don't recall owning a droid, and some say it's Anakin, and some say it's Luke. Because he was ultimately his best friend, right?
Yeah.
They always say C-3PO was his best friend, right? I thought Luke was his best friend. He went on more missions, I think, with Luke individually.
So here's something that's very interesting, which is kind of a lead-in to part of the finale of Fett, which we're doing next week, is the gentleman who plays the deputy for the marshal here is also the stunt coordinator for the Book of Boba Fett and also a body double for Fett. His name is JJ Dashnaw, and JJ is going to be one of 2 guests that we're going to have next week right here on the Virtual Cantina.
Double double fetted.
Yes.
Thanks.
How awesome is that?
Can you slide me back into my slot?
Oh, what happened?
You didn't notice it disappeared?
I didn't notice you gone.
Oh no!
He floated to
Yeah.
the top like
Yeah,
fizzy lifting drinks.
Well,
absolutely.
now he's got his proper
And
background.
the other thing I also love about the fact that the gentleman who plays the Weequay, that's Warren from Something About Mary.
Did not know that.
Name something.
W. Earl Brown.
That's it.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
This is
Here's
Cad
the
Bane.
scene.
Spoiler alert.
Well, we all knew as a fan going in, as we were talking about earlier with the
Yes.
cartoon, Christine, is that Cad Bane was such a huge character within the Clone Wars cartoon. And to see it live action here is actually pretty awesome for us fans, just like seeing Ahsoka, live action.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's actually portrayed by a gentleman named Dorian Kingley, who is a fantastic guy. I don't know if got to meet Dorian on set, but he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, I met him at London when I did the sign-in, the convention with him. And at first, like, it was funny because like when I was with Susanna, one of the Jawas, we got to hang out with him and Misty
Right?
as well. And it was cool because like, like you guys are the Star Wars, part of the Star Wars, and we got to know each other, so like he's really tall.
Yeah,
I was
Oh,
like,
he is. He's very tall.
I
yeah,
bet
he's
him.
really tall. Like, oh wow.
Yeah.
But he's really nice guy.
He is
His
superb.
character is really imposing, though. It's like I would not want to run into him in a dark alley or even in a well lit.
And what's also great is that the voice of Cad Bane is done by the gentleman who did the voice in the cartoon, Corey Burton, which is very cool.
That's very cool.
But yes. There's one of our guests next week that kind of looks like James Marsden from Enchanted or a Cyclops in the original X-Men.
I thought he looked a little bit like Adam Pally.
That too.
As long as he doesn't punch Grogu, I'm good.
Yes. What did you think of that when you saw that scene watching when the stormtrooper punches Grogu?
Oh, I was like, what happened? Like, why you do that? Like, at first I didn't know what's going on, but now I understand.
Probably one of the most controversial scenes of the Mandalorian series. Don't punch the baby.
Yeah.
Such a fearsome, with the animated series, it's animation, right? But when you see it live action, Cad Bane is so fearsome with the teeth and the eyes.
His voice alone. And then this whole look and the space denim, that's one of the best things.
Hunter, it was Adam Pally, and it was who's the one who punched him? I'm blanking. Jason Sudeikis.
Jason Sudeikis.
Yes, Jason Sudeikis.
Yep, Sudeikis. I thought, people complained or didn't like this, interpretation of Cad Bane, but I thought he was amazing. Very physically imposing.
I think we got also the answer to the song of who shot the sheriff and the deputy.
Yeah. He did both, that's for sure. And quick.
Yep.
This is so like High Plains Drifter, Clint Eastwood style thing.
Yep.
Did you ever
if you could play any other character in Star Wars besides a Jawa and R2, who would you want to play? Or what creature?
Let's see. Any character? I don't know. I kind of want to be BB-8.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. But then I do want to be Ahsoka, like a mini version
Mhm.
of Ahsoka.
That would be
That's
cool.
great.
Yeah.
So we just saw Leilani as one of the gamblers.
Mhm.
And we're going to see our good friend Chris Bartlett very shortly.
Didn't they already pop his droid in there? Oh, there he is again. Yep.
There's Chris, right
Yeah.
there to the order with the 1980s bowling game.
The droid drummer always makes me
Yeah.
laugh when I see it.
Very cool
Mhm.
drummer.
There's Leilani.
There's like a version of Snaggletooth there next to Leilani too.
Have you guys gone to the Star Wars special event at Disneyland?
Yes.
Yes.
We all went, I believe, to the one that was at during Celebration, Star Wars night. I've been to ones a few different times.
Yeah.
We all went to the most recent one, and it was very packed, but it was still a lot of fun.
But there was a few of your co-actors hanging around. I think John and Dave actually went to Star Wars night in Disneyland. So
Yeah.
This shocked me that
Yeah,
they
this whole
did
scene.
this bombing in the middle of the sanctuary.
Mhm.
And I loved how they're building this after all of us have seen what happens later on during the Last Jedi of the temple being burnt down, and here you get to see it being built, which is actually kind of cool. And I love how the little gift looks like Grogu's head.
Yes, that was a great touch that they gave it ears. Look at that little cutest little chainmail you ever saw.
Don't put it in the wash.
It'll
Dry clean only.
It'll rust. No, Beskar doesn't rust. So this is dealing in absolutes here, Mr. Jedi.
I know,
Yes.
but it's like, okay, you can have French fries or you can have apple slices with your Happy Meal, but you can only have one.
Ooh, his own special lightsaber. Oh,
Look at that tiny little handle.
who made it? Did Luke make that for him?
And that's Yoda's saber. That's what they need to do in Galaxy's Edge is sell Yoda's saber
Oh, that'd be cool.
because of the smaller
Or,
form.
or,
Yeah.
or binders for Grogu.
They have regular size ones. They don't have.
I know that. I'm
Handcuffs,
just saying
yeah.
that was still so wrong that they had handcuffs for the baby.
You never know what size creature will be in there. Need to be captive. And they were ready. No, I think I bet good old I can't think of his name. Moff Gideon commissioned those prior to trying to track down the child, but who knows? I love this Grogu contemplating here. This shows the range of the puppeteers for sure. All the movement.
Oh yeah.
And the eyes.
The little
Yeah.
detail. The ears, the eyes.
And there it is. Great episode.
And I love the fact
Oh,
that Dave directed this episode. I mean, obviously it was a huge one for him. Having Ahsoka on there, but Luke. And
Mhm.
I remember us watching this live, and we're like, okay, we get Ahsoka, Luke, and R2 all in this episode. This is gonna be a great episode. Like,
Mhm.
because they kept it so quiet from the fans that this was going to happen.
Mhm.
It was just absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
was there a lot of pressure to keep all this stuff that you were privy to secret?
Yes. Like
Probably
the
second
only
guessing
person,
everything you say, probably.
like the only person that knows about it was my husband, because he's the one dropped me off
Oh, there you
to
go.
try out the costume, and that's when I told him like who I'm gonna be, and he was really happy and jealous about it. Like, oh my god, that's so cool! Like you bring the icon back. Like, you know,
Yeah.
at first, like
Mhm.
it didn't kick in when I got cast to be R2D2 until like the next until like when I started filming. And that's when
Mm,
I started to feel like, oh wow, you know, this is really happening, you
This
know.
is real.
Yeah.
definitely.
So I love this artwork that we're seeing here, and it's so awesome to see how they took the artwork and made the actual scenes from there and went from there, which is absolutely awesome. So well done. We're obviously so excited about more content coming out. Mandalorian season 3 starting in little over 2 weeks already, which is absolutely incredible. And obviously, we're getting ready for Celebration as well in 2 months. And I think we're about to see your name up on the screen soon. Lisa.
Mhm.
Yeah. How was that experience in London, Christine? Did you enjoy meeting people and getting to know them and talk about their
Um,
passion for the Star Wars?
in London, it was my first time going over there, but it's amazing to see the atmosphere, like compare, you know, where we live in my country in
Mhm.
USA. But I'm just amazed how those people like so into Star Wars, you know, there was one guest, he cried that
Hmm.
she finally got to meet R2D2 because she was a big, huge fan of R2D2. And that's overall, like, I think everybody, the guests and all the guests, it's cool to be be part of with them, you know, and also like, you know, that's your family. You've worked with them before,
Right.
you know. And this one, I did when I was with Susanna, she's like, have you met Susanna?
No.
I've spoken to her a couple of times. I've not met her personally yet.
Okay.
No.
She has her own personality, her character, right? But I love her. Once you get to know her, like you'll be like, what? Like, you know, you'll be amazed about her because she a character of herself, you
Hmm.
know. But anyway, like it was funny because like when we were in backstage with everybody at the convention, there's one girl that we didn't know who she was until she was telling us, I work with you in the Mandalorian. I'm Emily. Like, oh, okay. Because like we totally like didn't recognize her costume, her makeup, and all that until herself being
Mhm.
herself. And that's when we were like trying to figure out. She was figuring out like, who are you? Like, who are we talking to? You know, but it was funny, you know. But overall, like being in London is a great experience, and I wish I could go back again. You know,
Well,
and
fingers
Maybe
then
crossed. Fingers crossed you'll get back there
we'd
soon.
love to have you travel and get to meet as many of us fans as possible. As I
yeah,
mentioned, I am very, very, very excited to meet you and Bradley next month up in New
oh
Hampshire.
yeah,
It's only an hour from my home, so very excited to do that trip. But before we close out today, Jeff, anything?
No, just an excellent episode. Fun to see that they use humans for for some of this stuff when they could, do a CG version, but it just wouldn't have that same sort of heart. So it's good to have the actual actress in our midst. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
John.
Yeah, history and an absolute honor to meet the first female R2D2.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
That's history right there, okay? Secondly, my favorite droid. I loved R2. He's always a hero, always there pulling, irons out of the fire. If there was any trouble, R2 would rescue people in the most unusual ways. And you wouldn't expect that from such an innocuous kind of a droid that really doesn't speak, right? So it doesn't have any language. So it's all body language and movements and so on. So an absolute treat to meet you. I really, truly hope I can meet you in person, Christine. I truly admire the work that you guys have done. As Spencer said, bringing stories and just things that we grew up with, as older guys have, grew up with as part of our childhood, and to meet you guys in person is an immense treat. So thank you for taking the time to spend some minutes with us and share your stories of your experience with the Book of Boba Fett. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So once again, thank you so much, Christine, for joining us. I'm glad that we were able to finally get you to come on the show with us. And it was so much fun. And if things start happening in the future and more other things, love to have you come back with us again.
Of course. Yes, definitely. Thank you for having me on this show.
It's our pleasure. So as I mentioned earlier, we are going to have JJ Dashnow, who is the stunt coordinator, played the deputy, and also was the body double for Fett in the finale. But next week, joining him will be Iyad Ilbitar. I probably butchered his last name. He is the other stunt double for Tamora Morrison and Boba Fett for the rest of the season. So we have both stuntmen who double for Tamora joining us next week for the finale, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. A lot of great stuff. Don't forget, we got a great intergalactic news desk coming this weekend with a crew from #Cantina with Mark Van Olen and Gary O'Toole, and also the return of Celebrating Argos, talking about all right now 28 actors announced for Star Wars Celebration London next year, with 8 to 10 more on the way in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be pretty awesome. So from Christine, from Dave, who's not here, from Jeff and John, we like to say, may the force be with you.
This is
Take care,
the way.
guys.
All right.